I keep giving bad people good ideas.
Back to another video. If my voice is sounding extra shitty than usual, it's because I'm losing my voice. I was gonna try to record this earlier on the day, but my voice sounded even shittier. So I'm not gonna try to push it too much. So if I'm talking really softly and it sounds like an ASMR, that's kind of why. I'm gonna obviously take breaks to drink water and shit like I kind of normally do throughout videos, because normally it's my sinuses, but today I lost my voice completely. Luckily my sinuses aren't too fucked, but it's usually goddamn allergies or some other bullshit. But today's topic is kind of like a random ass topic, but I do like, and it could be kind of like common sense where it's like, no shit, dumbass. But I do want to make the connection between the fucking normal Renaissance and how we're possibly in the digital Renaissance. And yeah, it's like I've taken classes and shit about the Renaissance and stuff. And it's like there are a lot of connections and stuff. And if you do your own research, like, you don't even have to really take class. You could like look up the fucking one thing on Google, and you could kind of make the connections. And what's kind of funny is a lot of the families that kind of, I wouldn't say like, oh, every single family, but a lot of the royal families, or the families that had power back in the Renaissance, they have descendants that still exist that hold possibly power, or the family still exists up to this day, like centuries and centuries later. So you can make those connections too, go down that rabbit hole, but mainly we're gonna try to focus on mainly like shit like art, technology, and shit like that, because I do believe we are in like, you know, the early stages, or at least the digital renaissance. Well, you know, we had the main renaissance where it was like people went from really just being like a whole bunch of like medieval fucking lunatics dying of diseases, balls out, fucking killing shit, to being a little bit more civilized. And if that was through art, literature, religion, and shit like that. And nowadays, you could even make those connections too. Um, and I do feel like there was, like, during the Renaissance, like, very religious times, and people really getting really religious, or groups of people becoming more religious. And then there were people that were kind of not as religious, kind of moving away from that, if you see that in art and stuff like that. And you can see that nowadays in art and, you know, music and shit. Um, and again, if you don't know, the Renaissance was through the 14th to the 17th century, and pretty much the main key shit that, like, kind of just, like, you know, kind of made shit poppin' was the printing press. And if you don't know what a fucking printing press is, it's in the fucking name. It prints shit. So this made, well, instead of writing books by hand, we could print that shit. And then we could have, you know, billions and gazillions of copies of that book. Maybe not that much, but, you know, have copies of that book and share our information quicker. If that's like, you know, right, copying the book, sending it to a different country, whatever the fuck. Or not like country, but, you know, city, whatever, civilization, some shit like that. But, you know, pretty much the printing press made knowledge widely spread. And if you connect the printing press to shit like the internet is like the modern printing press, okay? Like, yeah, we still, like, you know, print books, print magazines and shit. You know, we still have physical media and shit. But with that physical media, we have turned it digital through, like, you know, internet, downloading shit. You could turn that digital media into physical media by printing it. And with, you know, having something like the printing press is great and shit, but, you know, that papers, books, stuff like that takes up space. You need shit like libraries and stuff. And that's, if you think about it, we have turned libraries from something physical to something digital. And if you think of the internet as one big library of information, we kind of did that. Like, I forgot the whole fucking name of it. Every religious nut is about it. I think it's like the Library of Alexandria or some shit like that. Well, it got burnt down, and everyone's like, "Oh, we lost 90% of the information about the world and shit like that." And that could be true and shit. I don't know. I'm not digging that deep, but I know there was a something Alexandria. Like I think it was a huge library and shit. Whole bunch of people were like, "Oh fuck this place," burnt it down, and we lost a whole bunch of information about ancient human civilization. And I feel like the modern version of that is the internet. And, necessarily someone could come and just destroy it completely if that's, people being like, "Oh, the aliens," or, just, a world war or whatever, and we take out all the grids and no one can really get back on the internet. Like, somebody probably could recreate it and get back, but, like, probably be fucking hard. And I don't know, at the end of the day, do I really think that's gonna happen? Hopefully fucking not. But in that point I'm making is technically, I want to actually look that up real quick. Yeah, I think it's the Library of Alexandria. Yeah, I knew it. Okay, I wasn't fucking wrong. Yeah, Egypt was one of the largest and significant libraries in the ancient world. So if you think about it, the Library of Alexandria is like, this big ancient library of information about the ancient world. And if you think about it, the internet's kind of like the modern version of that. It used so much information about the modern world if that's stuff from 100, 200 years ago. It's not that modern, but compared to fucking ancient Egypt, it's pretty modern. And also you could think about, other technology, why can I not speak? Technological, advances will, like, obviously, well, shit, I just got really the printing press, honestly. Renaissance, I know there were, like, more things that were invented, but I should probably have just looked this shit up before. But, like, okay. Either way, we got the printing press, we got the telescope, and we got, like, shit like clocks. I don't know. We still use like physical telescopes. There, a lot of them are, honestly, it's actually interesting. Some of them are kind of digital, use kind of like, physical and digital lenses. It's kind of weird, but a lot of telescopes are pretty much the same as they always kind of been, but a little better, obviously. But mechanical clocks, we turn those shits to digital and shit. Fucking, holy shit, what the shit's falling. Oh fuck. I just want to record shit and like motherfuckers, like my whole apartment falling down. I don't know. God damn it. But I guess also modern pencils, flushable toilets. I thought we had flushable toilets back in like ancient Egypt. They figured that shit out. Glasses. I don't know. I guess yeah, we even make glasses digital now. I like again. Look at this. This is a great example. I'm like, oh fuck, well I should have probably looked this shit up before the video, and in like 10 seconds I was able to pull this shit up. And obviously it probably wasn't like that back in the day with the Library of Alexandria. But I bet definitely there was information, and if you needed knowledge or information, you could go there before they burnt that shit to a crisp. But yeah, holy shit. Okay. And we took us till 1562 vent pencils. Well, I guess we just use ink and shit. Well, cool. Well, But, yeah, no, at the end of the day, I really just kind of like, it's kind of just interesting to kind of connect the dots. Like, again, I'm probably missing a lot of points, but if you kind of do your own research and kind of dig through it, you could make a lot of connections if that's like families from back then that are still around, or descendants from that family that are still around. Hierarchies, how governments were run, how fucking all the media was, technological advances and stuff, kind of what we're going over. But yeah, no, obviously, global connectivity, also comes with, the internet and shit. And, you know, the printing press kind of allowed that too. Like, it wasn't so global, but it was global enough to where, you know, there were other civilizations communicating with one another that was taking inspiration in art or media and shit like that. But like I would say more in like, you know, they didn't have like Facebook and shit back then, but more in like media and like religion, art and shit like that. But well, so yeah, no, with kind of going back over what we were talking about with all this, like, you know, the digital renaissance, if you want to call that what we're in right now, there was an explosion with information with the internet, and honestly, it's almost too much to a lot of the information, you know, is false because there's so much. Anyone can post, anyone can say something. So you do get a lot of information that isn't always true either. And I guess that kind of could be true back then too. There were possibly people trying to manipulate people for power, control, and shit. But I guess yeah, no, I'm kind of connecting that as well. But I guess the information was kind of more controlled back then. So um, again, they didn't know as much as we do now, and I do feel like it's kind of hard to say, oh, the information was more collected and more controlled because again, they were like dumbasses being like, oh, to make it rain again, we gotta sacrifice someone like probably like a couple centuries before. So yeah. But also, yeah, we got new creative tools and stuff like that. If you think about it, back in like the 80s, 70s and shit, you would have to have like a whole movie studio, all these crazy programs, all this crazy connections to possibly make what we can make in like a YouTube video or, you know, an animation. Like back in the day, you probably had to have a whole, you know, in the 80s and shit, have to have a whole studio for to make animations and stuff. As now you just need a little drawing pad and a PC. And then, you know, like a lot of innovations and stuff, like I was saying, like we went from like, you know, we still use mechanical clocks, but now we have the option between mechanical and digital clocks. And then also, if you go down out the rabbit holes, like I was saying, like a lot of the media went from physical to digital, and you could even make the connection that the modern Library of Alexandria is like the internet, like, or our modern version, I would say. Um, and yeah, no, I would just say there's rapid technological acceleration of shit. Like, that's not the best way to word shit, but you know, there's a large technological acceleration. If that's like cars going from combustion engines to more solar powered EV electric type of cars and shit, and yeah, no, that's also what's kind of crazy too. Is like I'm not like whole like, oh hell yeah, I love EV, but electric cars like is another good one where it's just kind of like another thing where we're kind of even moving from more less mechanical shit like to kind of more like, you know, digital kind of. I wouldn't say it's fully digital. It's more like, you know, there's still mechanical components in an electric vehicle, but yeah, no, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of things I would say that also I would say always 100% point on point, but there are a lot of things too that, you know, you could disagree and be like, well, no, it's not like this, or it's not like the Renaissance and stuff. And again, that is what it is. But again, at the end of the day too, if you think about it, like popular artists is those people that like, I wouldn't want to say, oh, like Michael Jackson's like fucking Leonardo da Vinci, but like again, they had similar influence. Or like, you know, people traveled probably to try and, you know, maybe meet him or like see his artwork and stuff like that. Probably at least traveled to see his artwork. I don't know about he had a whole bunch of fangirls and groupies, but again, they traveled to see his artwork, similar to like Michael Jackson and shit. Not just one example, but you could pretty much kind of put that on any popular artist that has, like, you know, monumental influence that, isn't just a one pop influence, 15 seconds of fame type of person, but someone that had actual influence. But besides that, I don't want to ramble forever in today's video. This might be a topic that I pick up again in the future. But guys, comment down below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye. Sorry, I might all going too quick. I just don't want this being going forever, but, and also I've been talking forever, so my brain's kind of like fucking fried from talking, but, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and yeah, bye guys.